All right, well, first of all, welcome to Saline High School. My name's Scott Graydon. I'm the superintendent for Saline Area Schools, and really proud to have you here today. I appreciate you taking the time out of your busy schedules to come and be a part of today's event, and it's really a great event for us. It's the third year we've done the Classrooms to Boardrooms activity, and really it's about, for us, sharing what we're doing in Saline High School as part of the Southwest Washtenaw Consortium, which involves the districts of Chelsea, Manchester, Dexter, Milan, and Lincoln, as well as Saline. And it's really an opportunity for us to also gather feedback. We want to hear from business and industry, what are the things that you're looking for in students who are coming out of our programs and really entering the workforce. We want to make sure that our students are given every opportunity to learn the skills necessary here so that as they move forward, we know they're going to continue in their education, but what are the things we need to make sure are embedded in them when they leave Saline Area Schools or Saline High School and our career and tech education programs. I will say a couple of people I do want to introduce. The first is Alan Brilliant, and Alan is on the Saline Area School Board, and we had a nice meeting last night. I told him we should have walked over from Harvest and stayed here. And also Sherry Van Adder. Sherry Van Adder's here. She's the superintendent from Manchester, and many of her students come to and are involved in our programs. Again, the opportunity for us is to really learn about business and industry, and for our students today on the panel to be able to share some of their experiences here and talk about how our programs have benefited them moving forward. As many of you know, education has gone through a pendulum swing, whether it be the impact of assessment and essentially standardized testing. We want to make sure that our programs continue to focus on developing skills and attributes for students. And we focus on the 4 C's with Saline Area Schools, and that's communication, collaboration, critical thinking, and creativity. I will tell you that career and technical education programs figured that out years ago and understand it's not necessarily what you know, it's what you can do with that knowledge. And so it's exciting for us to be able to see, kind of the fundamental tenets of career and technical education programs branching out into other areas within our district and project-based learning. So we're seeing that what's going on in our programs here moving out to the rest of the building and even throughout the rest of our district. So we're excited about that. On that note, I'll stop talking and turn it over to Jody Galinsky. Jody Galinsky is the principal of the Southwest Washtenaw Consortium, and she'll talk a little bit more about the activities for today.
Thanks. Good morning. I got to lower this, or stand on my tiptoes even more. Higher heels might have helped. So, as Scott said, we service 6 different school districts. I have 6 different bosses, and as a county, or I want to say a county, but in Washtenaw County, we have students working and employed all over the county. And I think that's really important that we have that outreach to get students involved. All of our career tech ed programs have advisory committees. And that's why we have a lot of you here today that are on our current advisory committees that support our programs right currently. And we look for the advisory committees to have input on what's happening. What do we need to be teaching our young students so when they're ready to go out and work, they have those skills. They're ahead of the game. I do want to just share with you that today we have a panel of former students here, former successful students, that are going to share their stories. I was at the governor's conference a year ago, and he said, he's done an injustice, pushing everybody into a 4-year degree, and that we are not finding that skilled labor is lacking, and we need to do a better job of getting students involved. And so these students, many of them are involved in those different industries, and they're going to tell their stories today, which I think is very powerful. Before we begin, and I let them talk, I want to thank several people here tonight. Mary Wiesel, Sandy Coward, who are my direct team as in the consortium. I want to thank Chef Musto and all the culinary arts students for the wonderful spread of food that's out there. And most importantly, at the end of listening to the discussion today, you're going to have an opportunity to tour all of our programs. And that is going to be provided by our CTE Student Council. Guys, could you stand? And could I have a round of applause for them? This entire year, they have provided tours for 8th graders, for other folks that I have asked them to do, and they've done an awesome job. So thank you, and enjoy your tour after after this is over, the discussion, and we'll get started with the discussion now. I'm going to bring up Kayla Cable, formerly known as Kayla Arnett to me.
Hi, good morning. My name is Kayla Cable. I graduated from Saline in 2006.
You can.
So tall. I was a part of the cosmetology program. I actually struggled in high school academically, so having cosmetology really gave me that outlook on the fact that I could actually be successful in something that wasn't a four-year college degree. I have, had my license since I graduated when I was 18, and I've been able to be very successful in it because I've had it for so long. Yeah, so.
Any questions for Kayla?
So,
Yes,
was it early, when you said you struggled in high school?
yes.
Was it early on you struggled? 'Cause I would've
It was not early on. I would say about my sophomore year, I really started to notice like my academics went down,
So there was
so.
still time even at that point to
Yes.
go, because I don't know how long cosmetology program is.
So you start your junior year, you go through the summer, your junior, between junior and senior year, and then you get your license if you apply right when you graduate high school.
And can you
So.
tell us a little bit about the advisor, how you were advised in that direction? Maybe you already had it.
Yeah, so because I was not very academically, I was not doing very good academically, and I needed another outlook, to kind of help me get my credits and to be able to get my diploma, cosmetology was a great source of like a trade skill for me to do, so.
Thanks, Kayla.
Thank
I'm
you.
gonna, Kayla's got clients to do at 8:30.
I
So I'm
do,
gonna have,
sorry, yes. So, thank you.
next up, you guys. Sure. Go. Kayla Holsten was a student that's not able to be here today. She's in California?
Yeah.
Okay. So she had sent a letter that Mrs. Biesel's going to read.
So Kayla is finishing her internship in California. We'll be coming home tomorrow. Unfortunately, we had a 24-hour lag. So she emailed me her thoughts. Kayla said, I started off my freshman year in high school knowing one thing. I wanted to be involved in agriculture during my high school career. Now, don't get me wrong, I already had some experience in this field. My mother and uncle own a farm market and greenhouses, and I was actively involved in 4-H. I have heard numerous wonderful things about FFA from many alumni and active members. I knew this was exactly what I wanted to do. So to get my feet wet as soon as possible, I took agri-science biology my freshman year. This was a year-long class and counted on my high school biology credit, so I was very thrilled. In this class, not only did we learn about biology and animal biology, but we also got introduced to FFA, which is Future Farmers of America. We raised chickens for the state broiler contest. This is when class really became fun. As a class, we would do chores every day, and once a week, weigh the chickens. I really enjoyed the hands-on approach and found that's the best way I learn. As I continued through high school, I took botany, plant science, and zoology, animal science. I was only able to have this opportunity because of our CTE programs. I served as a Saline FFA chapter reporter, vice president, and president through my high school years. I competed in several leadership contests and made it to the state level in creed speaking and job interview. I won numerous proficiency awards for my entrepreneurship and other agricultural related jobs. I also was able to serve on the CTE Student Council as the vice president my senior year of high school, and I took auto tech as well. Auto was a very useful and enjoyable class because it was mostly all hands-on. So you sit here probably wondering what kind of impact this has had on me since my 2 years being out of high school. I decided to continue my education at Michigan State University in the Agricultural Technology program in the field of dairy management. This is a fast-paced 3-semester program that includes a required internship to graduate. I can happily say I have completed my program and graduated about a month ago. In my 2 years at college, I have had the opportunity to take on many exciting things. In the fall of 2014, I competed at the World Dairy Expo in Madison, Wisconsin, in the National 4-H Dairy Judging Contest. My team was fortunate enough to win the contest and offered a trip to visit Ireland, Scotland, and London in the summer of 2015. My team did take on this amazing offer, and I can say that I have made it across the pond. For 8 weeks this past summer, I interned at a very large dairy called Green Meadows that milk 3,000 cows and are located in the St. John's area. I learned numerous things through hands-on training, such as performing an IV on a cow and calf, treating sick cows, taking blood samples, and the day-to-day task of being on a dairy farm. Now, as I write this, I am in California. I was very lucky to land an awesome internship in California working on a dairy that milked about 2,300 cows. I have learned how to do numerous things, not only from the cow side of things, but also the people management and communication. FFA and Student Council helped me to develop my leadership skills early on, and I have now been able to use those on my internships. This will then reflect on my career someday also. Since I was able to compete in the job interview contest in FFA, I now know how to make a professional resume and cover letter. Both of these skills have helped me to get these 2 internships. I now plan to continue my education at either Michigan State University or California Polytechnic State University, Cal Poly. I will major in dairy science or agribusiness management. I would like to be a herdswoman on a dairy or work within the dairy industry once I am done. I am very grateful I was given the opportunity to take these CTE courses, and I will always use the skills I gained from these programs.
Thanks, Mary. Molly, you want to go next? Thank you.
My name is Molly Basil. I am currently an autism teacher at Grand Rapids Public Schools. I was in the Careers in Ed course here at Saline, and I just kind of wanted to speak on what it taught me. Careers in Ed helped me shift my focus from the general ed classroom actually to special ed, because I was actually able to work with students one-on-one and work with small groups, and that helped me realize that that environment and that type of interaction with those students is what I wanted the most. It taught me how to create relationships very quickly with my students, and so when I went to the student teaching field, I was very comfortable and it was easy transition. I was able to work under a 3rd grade general ed teacher, and I also was actually able to be a cadet teacher for an art teacher as well. So I got to experience 2 very different classrooms and 2 very different teaching styles, but learning that helped me realize the different types of classroom management and how to kind of approach my students and the approach I wanted to develop. What I wish I learned before I went into the College of Ed was the different theories of classroom management, because I feel like once you learn that in the College of Ed, you wish you could see it more often. Although we're able to observe in the Careers in Ed field, kind of wish I would learn that so I could see the different outlooks and how I wanted to approach my students. I know that I was very prepared in my experience working with students before I entered the College of Ed, but I didn't quite have the background in the teaching part. So I wanted to make sure that our students that are in our Careers in Ed have that opportunity to be able to take the basic skills test or the PRE before they enter the College of Ed, because that's kind of a big requirement to get into the College of Ed now. So I was fortunate to take the basic skills, but from what I hear, the PRE, it's very difficult to take, and a lot of it is high school material. So it'd be very beneficial to do it now, get it over with while you know the material, be easy. This program really inspired me to continue my education. It allowed me the opportunity to explore it with with the opportunity to know that I wasn't set in it permanently. Once you're in the College of Ed, you're really devoting your time, your education to the teaching field, and I noticed that this gave some of my classmates the opportunity to see the teaching field and know if that's the right fit for them. It currently, I know, derived that passion I had for education and continued it full-heartedly.
Any questions for Molly?
Molly, I know in the program you went into, there were obviously students who didn't participate in a program like Careers in Ed. How would you say was your experience when you compared it to the other students in the college when you were there?
How the Careers in Ed helped me prepare for the College
Yeah,
of Ed?
and did you notice any differences between what you knew or the skills you had relative to your class peers?
Compared to my class peers in the College of Ed, I realized that I had more experience working with students. Many of them had not been in a classroom before, so one of our requirements was to have 100 hours of service in a gen ed classroom, which I technically completed in high school, but I still had to do more. But that just gave me that extra experience that I felt like I was probably like a leg up on everyone else, just with how much experience I had working with students, knowing how to develop those relationships and what to target with them. But I feel like just being able to observe a classroom teacher has a tremendous change on what you're able to do. You know, I was able to watch two very different teachers manage their classrooms and learn, oh, that was a really great approach to handling that behavior, or that was a great introduction to this lesson. Whereas those other students, once you're doing your teacher assisting, you're just kind of put in there and you don't really get that chance to observe yet. So I feel like that really gave me that understanding of this is the type of environment I want and this is the type of teacher I want to be.
Thanks, Molly.
Short. My name's Mackenzie Rickman. I'm from Chelsea. I graduated in 2014. I did the health science program. I did it my junior and senior year in that program. Junior year, if you're doing it, is required. Senior year is optional. Junior year, we did a lot of classroom work and the basics of health science, basically nursing assistant. The second part of it, we were in a nursing home and got to go to different areas of a hospital. We were eligible for our CNA, which I took advantage of and got that my senior year. I also did the second part, like I said, my senior year, and I had an internship in Chelsea Emergency Room, and that actually landed me in my job that I have now as a perioperative assistant. I guess it was just my performance that really got me there. It also gave me college credit. I got 6 college credits for that, doing the consortium. Any questions? I like know what I want to say, but I can't say it. I'm super
Hold on,
nervous. Yeah, that was my junior year. We did the nursing home. Just a couple for what the class would have been. And then my senior year, I didn't do any classroom. I was in the hospital for 2 hours. Sometimes I would stay a little longer if I could, because I just really enjoyed it.
Anything?
Yeah.
What I wanted to also mention is all of our career tech ed programs articulate credit. So students earn college credit while they're in school. Oh, there it goes. Okay. Okay. So just last year, which we're very proud of, is Michigan State is articulating for our ag program. So they can earn 6 credits at Michigan State for being involved in our agri-science program. Most of the other programs here and there, like Central for the Careers in Ed, Flint, U of M Flint for also our Careers in Ed. Most things at Washtenaw, we have all of our programs credit here or there. Cosmetology, it used to only be at Schoolcraft, but now Washtenaw does have a program. So there are many, many credits these students can take advantage of by just being involved in the program and earning good grades. So, Ben, do you want to go next?
Hey everyone. Okay. Okay. All right. Hey everyone. I'm Ben Ellsworth. I am currently a graphic design student at the College for Creative Studies in Detroit. Here at school, I was in the Visual Imaging Technologies class, which teaches about printing techniques and the graphic design software. The Adobe Creative Suite, things such as Photoshop is probably what most of you would be familiar with. While I was in high school, I competed in Skills USA. In my junior and senior year, I took first at state both years. My first year, I took 7th place at nationals, and then as a senior, I took first place at nationals. And this was really a springboard for me figuring out what I actually wanted to do with just all the knowledge that I'd accumulated over my years in school, kind of figuring out which direction I wanted to take what I knew. I ended up transferring to Washtenaw Community College, where my experience and my grades was able to get me a full ride scholarship. So I went to college for free for 2 years. I left WCC and, well, at WCC, I got a job working at the newspaper using the skills that I had attained here in school. And then just over the summer, I got an internship at the Washtenaw County Parks and Recreation office. Again, as a designer, being able to actually work in my field at a very young age. And now I've transferred to the College for Creative Studies, where I am currently, and I'm also holding down an internship at a advertising and branding office. I'm doing work for some places around the community that might have heard of, such as advertisements for Wayne State, Henry Ford Village, and so on. And then in school, I'm able to explore a lot of different fields and areas of design, and I'm starting to explore web design, web coding, interactivity, and virtual reality, all based off of the skills that I developed and picked up here at Saline.
Questions for Ben?
I was just wondering, now that you're in this institute or this other school, do you see other students that have had the same experience you did in high school, or do you think your experience is something different and gives you a better understanding, or then even a better chance of getting other jobs, as you go on?
I definitely, it's hard for me to speak of my current experience because I also had 2 years of community college that most of my classmates haven't had. So I have an extra year of experience on them there. But definitely at community college, I already had a developed knowledge of what I was getting into, and I'm able to work faster and better because I have a better understanding of the software that's used for everything that we use, and just felt I had a stronger knowledge base to make better work.
Any other questions for Ben? Thank you. Kenny.
Hi, everybody. My name's Kenny Spicer. I graduated in 2014. Currently, right now, I'm doing mechanical engineering. I'm kind of, haven't got my degree yet, so it's not official, but doing a lot of design and on the engineering side. last year I was doing more software engineering, so I'm kind of hopping between companies right now. It's kind of a good experience. So I'm going to be attending the U of M in the summer, more than likely. I also have 2 job opportunities I might follow through on in California, so I've also applied to UCLA and USC. So I guess the program really helped me because I struggled really bad with my core classes going through high school. I wasn't a good student, like a D average, so once I got into the program, it really opened up my eyes to all the different opportunities I had, and I really had the support structure from Miss Wiesel. She really pushed me to do better in everything, and it really helped me get through, and I graduated with a lot better grades than I had, so it was a really good program, and throughout all that I did co-op my senior year, which really helped me get into the industry, the automotive side. And then my senior year I also did Skills USA with Steve Vasloff. We took first place in the state competition, I think 11th nationally. I'm not 100% sure on that. But from there, I went to Eischen. I really used my automotive side to start my career there. I started disassembling transmissions. I was prototyping more or less all the different components of a transmission. Then once they saw my work ethic and how fast-paced learner I was, they transferred me into a software engineering division inside the company. So I started working with high-level software engineers. They started teaching me the different skills and the trades that I needed to do that. Then a recruiter contacted me for my current company, ZF North America, for my CAD-based design stuff. So right now I'm designing different components to transmissions and torque converters, clutch packs, different stuff. Right now I'm designing the torque converter for the Hellcat, so just different cool stuff like that.
Questions for Kenny?
When, I don't know if you, hello? When you did your co-op your senior year, like what kind of stuff did you do on a daily basis?
So I was a automotive technician at Acura of Ann Arbor. So I was doing everything, timing chains, timing belts, rebuilding motors. I was even doing side work for Tomozik. You'd have customers come in and I'd help them do the motors and stuff on different Hondas and all that.
So when you were, your program, was it more the automotive technology or was it the CAD design that you did here?
Yeah, it was more the automotive side, but I fell back onto the CAD stuff because I really like doing the CAD design, and Mr. Vasloff really introduced me to that. But I would say that I definitely need both skills, and I'm glad that I have both courses under my belt.
Any other questions?
Good morning, Kenny. So you're working at ZF in Northville?
Yes, sir.
Okay. Up until you said that, I was thinking I was wanting to talk to you because I work for ZF and I'm looking for people like you. So. But anyhow, I look forward to seeing you in the Northville facility sometime.
Kenny, thank you very much. Good presentation. Quick question for you on when you were here, were there software engineering classes as part of your CAD CAM advanced manufacturing, or wasn't that till later that you really got exposed to that when you were put into the software engineering division?
I think there was, but I really didn't swing that way. It was more of a different branch. I think Mr. Satori taught that, but I didn't really go that way. The CAD stuff that I did was more 3D design and stuff like that, and then we did a lot of the automated manufacturing, running it on the machines and stuff.
Well, and do you deal at all, maybe now you do it, with kind of the management of CAD data, product data management type stuff after all the CAD files, or is that something that they teach you or not? You know, like the environment where you create the CAD files, share them with other folks, so you can
we
do
use a program called SAP.
Yeah.
So it's a it runs out of our main office in Germany, so we all kind of use that main storage system, and we have different data management stuff to use inside there.
Cool, thank you.
Yep.
Anything else? Thanks, Kenny.
Not a problem.
Paul.
Hello. Hello, everybody. My name is Paul McCullough. When When I first started high school, I did pretty well in my academic classes. I normally got all A's, but I was happy, but I wasn't as happy as I wanted to be. I knew that there was more of a challenge out there for me somewhere. And my brother, who's actually 3 years older than me, he recommended I tried a metalworking class. And so at first I was a little skeptical. I didn't know if I would like that very much, but I gave it a shot. And I went into my first, it was just called Metals 1, where you learn the fundamentals of welding and working with metal. And at first I was very, very scared of it. You see that bright arc and it's kind of frightening at first, and I didn't really want to give it a try, but as soon as I gave it a try, I knew that I loved it and that I wanted to pursue that more. And so I started to put in more time to it. I started to take more metals classes, and then when it came to my junior year, it was time for me to move on to the actual welding course, which is the CTE program, which goes into more depth on the welding classes and what you can do with it. And my teacher, Mr. Hasselback, started to see that I really had a good work ethic and I really wanted it. And so he really pushed me to do my very best. And I was spending a lot of time in that class. I'd come in early, I'd stay late after school just to, perfect my welding form. And he recommended that I tried Skills USA competitions. And so, I said, sure, I'll give it a shot. So I went through competitions and I ended up doing a lot better than I thought I would initially. I started out with small competitions like the Skills USA regional competition, and I ended up, placing first there. And so I moved on to states. I placed first there, and other small competitions where I continuously placed first. And then just recently I moved on to nationals in Kansas City, and I took first there, which now qualifies me to move on to the next step, which is where I am right now. But I would not be where I am right now if it weren't for my, CTE class really pushing me. And I was also dual enrolled at Washtenaw Community College, which let me take off a couple hours in my normal school day and go to Washtenaw to actually take welding classes there, which gave me a lot more time and opportunity to really get good at what I was doing. So in all this time, I graduated last year. I'm still 18 years old, and I've taken just about every welding credit that Washtenaw has to offer. And I've done it all for free. All the competitions that I've went to gave me a lot of scholarships, and just doing what I'm doing got me a lot of scholarship money. And Washtenaws helped me out with scholarships too. But I think it's the greatest opportunity I have ever come across, and I would recommend it to anybody, and it's set me up for life.
Questions for Paul?
I'm going to ask you kind of a leading question because I know how you work at Washtenaw, but about how many hours a day are you welding and attending classes right now?
At Washtenaw, I am in there at 8 in the morning until 10 at night or 11 at night. So I normally have anywhere from 12 to 14-hour days, 5 days a week, and then on Saturdays from 8 to 5. So whenever the shop is open, I'm in there practicing. They've set me up so with the whole shop layout, there's this little empty corner that nothing was going on, and so they took red curtains and they made me my own little spot in the shop, and they put in 2 welders for me and gave me as much material as I can weld. So they set me up pretty good.
Your own little welding booth.
I do.
But I just want to say that Paul does work very, very hard, harder than average for everything that he's accomplished so far.
Oh, is he over there?
Paul, so I know you're going to compete then in the kind of the world competition. You know, depending on how that, what's your next step? So we're, 2, 3, 4, 5 years down the road, where do you see yourself in terms of the industry?
Sadly, I haven't given that too much thought. I've been very, putting in this much time towards the competitions. It's really all I can think about. I do know that a good route to go down would be weld engineering, and I could transfer to Ferris State or Penn Tech and pursue that. But for right now, my current goal is just to make it to World Skills in 2017. And I'm really putting in all my time towards that. I'm not thinking too hard about where I want to end up in the long run. I'm thinking about getting this done and then seeing where that leads me after that.
Where are Worlds at in 2017?
That would be in Abu Dhabi? Abu Dhabi.
I think I might need to help cheer Paul on. Right now, I am working with 3/8 plate, which is just steel plate, 5/8 steel plate, and then we have pressure vessels with which we have to weld, an aluminum project, and a stainless project, along with 4-inch Schedule 80 steel pipe, and everything has to be x-rayed, bend tested, pressure tested, really as much testing as you can do to these projects they put them through. I am doing MIG welding, stick welding, flux core welding, and TIG welding. You're welcome.
Has that led to any job offerings?
It definitely has. I meant to make a part of that, but I forgot to say that. Going through high school after my freshman year, just going through the metals classes, that summer I was able to get a welding job, and that was at Clapperich Welding in Ann Arbor, which is just a small town, little shop. We just did little repair work, but there's a huge difference between classroom welding and real world welding, and that definitely opened my eyes and gave me insight into how both work and how both go on. And then from there, I went back there every summer, and my boss, he said that for every competition I won, he would keep giving me pay raises, so it kind of worked in my favor. And so he was really enjoying having me around, and even after that, I got a lot of job offers, but I had to turn them all down so that I could focus on practicing and spending all my time at Washtenaw, which actually ended up, Washtenaw helped me out a lot, and they actually gave me a job in the department to where I'll be welding most of the time, and then I've got my part-time job on the side to give me at least a little bit of income to pay for gas, to pay for food, just living expenses while I'm doing this. So they help me out a lot.
So it sounds like you're further down the road where you've actually been working in the real world a bit more. If you look back at the program, is there anything that you would have changed about it to, it sounds like you're really well prepared, but is there anything you would have changed about it to, in having some hindsight on how to make it even better than it is?
To be honest, the program here is a very, very good program, and it prepared me completely. Obviously, it can't prepare me fully for getting a real job, but it gave me all the welding skills that I needed, and plus it taught me how to, going through competitions, you have to know how to read a blueprint, and you have to know how to assemble and fabricate projects, where that all transferred into the real world, where when a customer came to me and I needed to draw down a blueprint, I could do that no problem, and I would have no mistakes putting it together for that person. And in that way, the program really prepared me for a real world job. And they do as much as they can. And you can be very successful in these programs. It's all about how much work you put in and time you put in, and really how dedicated you are to learning, because you can go through it and you can not learn a thing. I mean, that's the same for everything, but if you really devote yourself and put your time into it, you can end up anywhere.
Thanks, Paul.
You're welcome.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Jeremy Beber. I graduated from Saline High School in 2010, and I just want to say, first off, thank you for letting me speak this morning. And I also want to give a thanks to all of my former teachers, I know a few of them are in this room, for helping me get to where I am today. I appreciate your help very much. So my story kind of starts back when I was a freshman here at Saline High School. I remember taking a bunch of tests kind of to figure out what I would be a good fit in down the road when I was looking for a job, or what I should study when I moved off to college. And originally my plan was to be a teacher, and that probably came from both my teachers, or both my parents being teachers for 30 plus years. But I also found out that I had a big passion for cars, and so with being a teacher, I also wanted to be a test car driver. And then lastly, for some odd reason, I wanted to be in business. And so I wasn't really sure where I wanted to go up until my senior year. And that's when I took the marketing course here at Saline, and that gave me the experience of working with DECA. Now, DECA is a program that's nationwide, and it used to have an acronym for the word DECA. I don't remember what it was, but now it just stands for an Association of Marketing Students. But what it does is it provides the members of DECA, and Saline's marketing program is a member of it, an opportunity to compete in real-world situations. So you can compete at a regional, a state, and a national level. So they have different levels of competition, and you have to qualify for each one. But it gives you the opportunity to be presented with a real-world situation. You have 10 minutes to prepare, and then you get judged on the spot how you handle that scenario and situation. So depending on how well you do, you can qualify for states and then on to nationals. So that's really where I learned my passion for business, and that's the route that I ended up taking in college. I don't know the statistic off the top of my head, but I think it's like a college student on average changes their major like 4 or 5 times, if not more. So fortunately, I was not one of those, and probably fortunately for my parents as well. But marketing was my choice, and that remained my choice as I went to Michigan State for all 4 years, and even in going into the business school and seeing the different options that I had there as well. Marketing still was my #1 choice, and carried that all the way through for all 4 years. One of the things that I feel like really prepared me for Michigan State and for the business college, and ultimately for my job that I have now, is the competitions that we had with DECA really built the understanding of what it would mean to think on your feet and have relationships with people. In business, that's probably one of the biggest things that you can teach it, but without getting that hands-on experience, it's really difficult. And I feel like DECA helped me to build those relationships, because you're interacting with other students that you have no idea who they are from other school districts, and if you're at the national level, from other states, and I think they even pull kids from other countries in for that competition as well. But that really helps my understanding of what relationships are, and it also prepared me for my job now. One of the things that I think would have been helpful going through the program here at Saline would be taking a finance course. Now, I don't know if that has changed in the last 6 years from when I graduated, but taking a basic finance course I think would have helped prepare me a little bit better. The finance course at the Broad College of Business at Michigan State was one of the hardest courses that they have. So taking a basic finance course I think would be a good suggestion here for the consortium or even in Saline. And then another thing that I think might be able to help with college students, it would help with high school students and eventually college students, is if there would be an opportunity for Saline or other school districts to leverage their relationships that they have with local businesses, where they might be able to do a co-op so students can get hands-on experience with what they think they would like to do down the line. That way it's going to save them money if they say, you know what, I don't want to do that. I had the experience. Maybe I'm going to try something else before I actually spend a couple $1,000s on college tuition. So that's kind of my story and my experience. Yeah, so I work for a technology company called University Office Technologies. I manage accounts and I work in sales for them. Yep.
Thank you, Jeremy.
Yep.
Hi everyone, my name is Noelle Jacobs. Before I begin, I just want to thank you all for being here. This is something I'm really passionate about, given all of these success stories, and I think that every student should have the opportunity to have that kind of success. So I thank you for being here, taking your time to listen to us. It means a lot to me. So I graduated from Saline in 2011. Quick background before that, I was homeschooled until my sophomore year, and I came here solely for the purpose of athletics. I wanted to swim and play water polo because we have an amazing athletic program here. But being homeschooled, that gave me a lot of opportunities to use my time differently than the average student. So I guess I could call myself a local news junkie because I would chase around local news reporters and kind of want to be near the local celebrities, and that got me interested in the whole news industry. So fast forward to sophomore year, I took Mr. Bush's digital photography class, and towards the end of the class he mentioned that the following year he was going to have a video news class, and it would be something along the lines of a a weekly show called SHS Today. And I said, okay, I'm all about that, count me in, I'm going to do it. So that program, it gave students to go through a rotational, position rotations. Every week we would focus, or every 2 weeks we would focus on a new position. So it made us well-rounded. It gave us the exposure to these different positions that we might encounter in the professional world. And by my senior year, so that was junior year, by senior year I really wanted to be on TV. That was something that I just really liked, and it took a while to get me to stop laughing every time I was on camera, and we had probably like 5 tries when the other students could do it in like 1 or 2, but it was just incredible because Mr. Bush, one, is awesome, and he just truly cares about his students and was passionate about them, and he saw potential in us, and he would encourage us and push us once we figured out what our gifts were in that program. And then second, the program itself was wonderful. I would say yes, a few tweaks now, but for the most part, it gave me a foundation layer of skills, the skill set, fundamentals that I needed before I went into the college program at Grand Valley. And it made me go in there with confidence. So kind of what Jeremy was saying, he kind of knew what he wanted to do before he went into college. And unlike most students, we stuck with that course track and we saved time and money, our parents' money. So it was just a really cool opportunity to have that, and it also helped me develop the relational skills I needed before I got into college, because I feel like the college setting, to some extent, you have scouts looking for you all the time to kind of pull you in different directions, and a lot of the professors that I encountered, they were already local professionals, whether they were reporters or producers or one of my professors, she was a writer for People magazine. So just professionals that are always there looking at you and teaching you. So some of us stood out because I encountered a few other students who did have the opportunity that I had in high school, and we were given all the opportunities when they came to us. And it's unfortunate to say, but a lot of students didn't have that. And looking back, that makes my stomach cringe, because I'm thinking, why can't they have that opportunity too? Why couldn't they do the things that we did? And to name a few of those, one of my professors, she had an opportunity to interview a local not local, but a Hollywood producer and his wife, an actress. So Mark Burnett, he produced The Survivors, The Voice, and then Roma Downey, she played in Touched by an Angel, and she just starred in Son of God. It was their 2014 film, and she played Mary. And they were coming to Grand Rapids to kind of promote this new film, and my professor said, well, you know, I've done this a million times. Austin, I want you to film it. David, I want you to write it. And Noelle, I want you to interview them on camera, and that's going to go on TV. And I'm sitting there like, why do I deserve that? And I've had different opportunities like that, and through that experience, I was able to get my current job now. So I was in an internship setting at the West Michigan News Leader with TVA, which is an NBC affiliate. And I was able to form relationships there, and that landed me, after my internship, that landed me a job in a different department there, working on their a mobile app that they put out for Art Prize. It's kind of like the art fair of Grand Rapids, but way cooler. And so I was managing that app on my own, and we had anywhere from 500 to 1,500 users a week, and that was really cool to know that so many consumers were using my product. And then shortly after that, I wasn't even halfway into my second semester of my senior year at Grand Valley, and I got a phone call in one of my 6 to 9s while I fell asleep, and it woke me up. I took the call, and it was the assignment manager at Wood TV saying, hey, I have an opportunity, I want you to jump on it. And now I'm currently employed at Wood TV as an assignment editor, so I manage the news crews, I deploy equipment, I make timely decisions that could cost us a lot of money, and it's kind of scary to know that I have that responsibility, but again, they saw something in me that was planted here at Saline High School, and that is really cool to know that other students can have those opportunities too.
Questions?
From an English standpoint, what type of English, obviously communication skills are there, what type of English experiences you had, and how did that kind of dovetail into the video program?
That was vital to my learning experience at Grand Valley and my current job right now. I remember being in classes with Mrs. Converse, Mrs. Denson, and just really enjoying the coursework that they gave me, and developing that strong writing emphasis and that strong English emphasis early on was vital for my performance in college. So for me to showcase what I knew, and I guess to be a viable candidate for professionals out there to see me and want me to work for their industry.
Thank you. You're welcome. We have, Mary's going to read one more letter that was sent to us from Joe Stroh. He was not able to be here today. He is currently at the University of Toledo.
So we have had Joe Stroh lined up since December, and he emailed me yesterday and said that he couldn't get out of his 3 exams. So there was, I don't know, there was this problem. So he did send me this, and I wanted to read it for you. Excuse me. I'd like to begin by apologizing for my absence. I was looking forward to having the opportunity to speak today, but unfortunately, as you all know, things come up in life, and I will be taking 3 exams today. I was excited to speak because I believe that why you are here is important. Manufacturing and tech-oriented education is too often undervalued and set aside as secondary to classes such as calculus, biology, and poetry. While maintaining a strong core curriculum is important, having the opportunity to take both traditional and hands-on classes has given me a significant leg up in college and in life. For those of you who do not know me, my name is Joe Stroh. I graduated from Saline High School in 2013. I'm in my third year of mechanical engineering at Jessup Scott Honors College at the University of Toledo. I took a number of tech-oriented classes in high school, including metals and introduction to engineering and drafting. But when it came time to choose my consortium class, I chose automotive technology. Having taken autotronics as a sophomore, I knew I was interested in learning more about automotive mechanics and that I liked the teaching style of the instructor, Mr. Tomosic. But I had no idea how much I stood to gain by taking auto tech. Through the first year, I learned about general shop safety, proper vehicle maintenance, cooling systems, and electrical diagnostics. And anybody else. I also had the opportunity to participate in Ford AAA, an automotive skills competition that tests students' knowledge through both written tests and hands-on challenges. Participating in Ford AAA, I became even more engaged with the material. Between my first and second year in the program, I was offered a co-op position at Gene Buttman Ford in Ypsilanti. At Gene Buttman, I had the opportunity to work with senior master technicians, learning from their vast wealth of knowledge while gaining hands-on experience and making money. During my second year of auto tech, I ran for and was elected president of the SWWC Student Council. Led by Mr. Tomosic's instruction and aided by what I was learning on co-op, I was able to win the Regional Skills USA Master Tech competition, as well as with Justin Sly, compete in the state finals for the Ford AAA competition, where we earned the state high test score. These victories came with prize bundles containing tools and even scholarships, including a 2-year full ride to Washtenaw Community College. While the prizes were nice, my consortium experience was worth much more. I've always been a tinkerer. From the time I was very young, I enjoyed taking apart and at least trying to put back together anything I could get my hands on. And while I have always worked hard to achieve and maintain good grades, classes and homework generally felt more like chores. Consortium classes allowed me to find a balance between the necessary and the truly stimulating. Electing to go to college rather than tech school, I was unsure how my time spent in auto tech would benefit me, but it didn't take long to find out. Things learned in auto tech have been applicable to nearly every class I have taken to this point. The most striking example of the traditional disconnect between the theoretical and the practical came when I showed my materials science TA, an individual with 2 college degrees, how to use a micrometer. Pressure and compression problems, just like those encountered in engine displacement calculations, showed up in my Engineering Physics 1. Wiring diagrams, like those taught in electrical diagnostics, have shown up in circuit analysis and Engineering Physics 1 and 2. In Physics 2 lab, I learned about almost no one knew what a multimeter was, let alone how to use one. These are just a couple of the numerous situations where what I learned in auto tech has directly helped me as a college engineering student. Additionally, coming this summer, I will be working my first engineering co-op with Ford Motor Company, an opportunity that I will be able to stretch to its fullest potential because of what I learned about automotive mechanics while in high school. I am sure that my auto tech knowledge and experience will continue to benefit me in both in and out of the classroom until I graduate and for the rest of my life. Manufacturing and tech-oriented classes are too often ignored by those who are not interested in pursuing technical careers. Few realize how valuable the skills learned in consortium classes can be to other aspects of school and life. I hope that my experience and the experiences of other SWWC consortium students help to convince students who are unsure whether or not a consortium program is right for them that they have so much to gain and nothing to lose by giving tech a try.
Mary. Now, how many of you have had this experience? How many of you were a CTE student when you were in high school, took a vocational class is what they call it then, and where you're at right now? Can I just see a show of hands? That's awesome. That's very good. Any of you care to share your story? Now it'll be quiet.
I have kind of a similar story with some of you guys. I was never the best academic student. I did not enjoy English or history or, those classes, and I did not have very good grades my first couple years of high school. And when I was in 10th grade, sitting in English class, there was a lady that came to the class to tell us about the vocational school. And I misunderstood what she said. I thought that I would get more credits per class at the vocational school than I would at my normal school. So I figured, oh, well, then I can graduate on time without taking summer classes. So I signed up for the class on the list that I thought would be the easiest with the least amount of homework, which was welding. And when I was in 11th grade, I started taking welding classes. I didn't even exactly know what welding was when I signed up for the class. But after I took it, I just fell in love with it, and I did some of the Skills USA competitions and did very well with it. And I was also offered a scholarship to compete in welding for Washtenaw. So these vocational classes that high schools offer really open up a lot of doors for people for their future careers.
Thanks, Amanda. I appreciate that. Anyone else? Anyone else have anything else they'd like to add?
My name is Dwight Morningstar. I work at Rosedale Products, and same thing. Didn't do very good in school. 10th grade, went through the Skills Center, we called it back then, and seen the machine shop. Right then I decided that's what I wanted to do. Went through the machine shop, got passing grades. Went into machining after school, which is kind of ironic now because what we came out to, we were in high competition trying to find machinists and welders because everybody went through and was trying to learn a skill. Then for, 20 years, we couldn't find hardly anybody coming out with any skills. They kind of all fell off. Now what they're doing now in the skill centers that they got is just amazing. The amount of people that are coming out, the skills, the head start that you get going into, saved me a lot of training in welding and in the machining part of it because the skill center just helps give them such a jump on trying to do it on the run, trying to get a job, trying not to lose interest or having to get laid off because you don't know what you're doing. I think it helps substantially what it does. And as far as the welding class goes, I actually had Steve come and take a welding test, and I didn't hire him. I told him, when I met him later, when I come to find some people who had some skills to help our welding shop, I told him that's probably a better thing that he came in, do the job that he has done, seeing what he has done with the welding, as opposed to getting a job at my shop. I told him I would have just ruined him. He wouldn't have went nowhere. But no, he has done a great job, as well as did all the instructors here. It's just amazing. I'm very happy for this school.
All right, well, I didn't have any career technical education, but my story is kind of similar. When I was 8 years old, I'm an architect. When I was 8 years old, I got this obscure toy called Lego, and you probably never heard of it. But that kind of started me in down the path of finding what I love to do in life. And I guess what I see as a common theme among all of you is seeing yourselves in something beyond just a classroom. You see yourselves in a career. You see yourselves in something that you enjoy. And that was my story. I really enjoyed building things with Legos, and from there it was an easy step to actually becoming an architect. And I guess what I want to ask all of you, are you in it because of the money? No. Are you in it because it's something you love to do? Something you love to do. And if there's one thing that we as educators, we as employers can do, it's helping people find things that they love, because that will ensure your success and our success as educators and employers. So I applaud you all for doing what you love and sticking with it. I guess the other question I have is, the courses that were difficult for you, were they easier once you found what your passion was? Was it because you could see what the application was? Why you're doing things? Yeah, to me that's huge. Helping kids find out why they do things. Helping kids get their hands, in the mix and doing things and testing things out and finding their passion. So congratulations to all of you. I hope you continue to be passionate about what you're doing and love what you do. Thanks.
Well, that concludes this particular presentation and having it here. So what I'd like to do now is offer you to go on a tour with our CTE Student Council reps. So could I have maybe you four? Cassidy, you want to take them? And maybe you five?
This has been an SCTN production.